Hello, guys. I am back to lift the hex that has been placed on you and to give you a story. Part 2, or the next page in our adventure. What if Deku was Stain's son? When we last left off, we saw Izuku and Chizumi standing in an alleyway a couple 100 feet away from their house as they see All For One flick his fingers or snap his fingers as the house crumples in on itself as if something was sucking it from the inside. Chizumi, or Stain, is about to say something to Izuku when All For One turns his head. All For One looks in the alleyway where they just were. He thought he heard a noise, but the Quirk doctor arrives and says, "He's not here either. Where is that little boy?" All For One says, "You were supposed to track him, not I. Next time, do your job." As he steps through a black swirl and disappears. We hear the Quirk doctor mumble something under his breath as we pan over to see Izuku and Chizumi currently standing on a house. Chizumi asks Izuku, "What just happened?" Izuku responds, I don't know. He's so strong. Who is he?" Chizumi responds, I don't know. Let's try to stay away from him, though." As we zoom out a little further and see that Chizumi and Izuku are standing on a roof, a few 100 feet away from the alley they just were. Chizumi and Izuku start walking in random directions. Izuku remembers, wait, if he saw where I live, he probably knows about Toga. And he says to his dad, "Hey, Dad, we need to go check on a friend of mine. She might be in danger." His father, understanding, follows him as they both run at top speed. Izuku's a little faster because of his blood manipulation, which actually, I haven't told you how he makes his blood circulate faster. You all will see as he's jumping from rooftop to rooftop, he bites his thumb as he drinks the blood that comes from it as the wound heals almost immediately. Then you'll see his veins expand through his neck as his wrist veins and all that start to expand as more blood is pumped in and out of them constantly. Never-ending flow. As he runs, using never-ending flow, he gets to Toga's house within the hour. As he does, he drops off the closest roof, breaking his fall by doing a quick land and somersault. As he stands up, he sees his dad is just standing on the rooftop behind him. He then walks to Toga's door. As he is about to knock on it, he hears arguing and yelling, a male voice screaming at the top of their lungs. He can only make out one word, "Bitch." And before he even gets the chance, something in him moves. He kicks down the door, as following it right behind, he jumps on the door that is still in midair and hurls himself towards Toga's father, who is holding a baseball bat right about to clobber her. But something in his mind notices a little girl being held by Toga on the other side of her. Toga is protecting someone. This is when Deku realizes how much of a true hero she is. So he gets serious as his eye patch disappears. Too fast for the eye to see, and all anyone can tell from it is that they see a string falling away from him. As he flies and grabs onto the back of the man's neck, using the rest of his momentum to fall and jackknife as he slams the man's face on the ground. He then grabs his knife as he severs the man's Achilles tendon, or Achilles heel, so that he will not stand up. The man is screaming and yelling in pain as Izuku steps over him and walks over to Toga. Seeing the little girl, he gets on one knee as he holds out his hand. "Hey, I'm Izuku Midoriya. Nice to meet you. Are you okay?" As the little girl holds out her hand and shakes his, she says, "Yeah, Big Sis protected me. My name's Yuki Toga." Which, if you don't know, Toga's real name is Himiko, but everyone just calls her Toga since that's the name she tells people. But Himiko Toga. Himiko is her real name. I'm pretty sure. Anyway. Deku shakes her hand as Stain, Chizumi, walks through the door as he sees what Izuku did. He sighs as he's just going to take the baseball bat that was in the man's hand before and hit him directly in the back of the neck, knocking the man clean out. Then Izuku calls 911 for, this man's not gonna bleed out anytime soon, but if he doesn't get that wrapped, he might never walk again. And Izuku hates this man and wished that he wouldn't, but his father would be disappointed. So, well, that's what he thinks. His father wouldn't actually care since, he kills heroes. Anyway, Izuku calls 911 as he puts the phone in between his shoulder and his ear as he grabs a blanket off the couch and uses a blade that he pulls from his belt to cut it into strips. And using these strips, he bandages off any wounds the girls have, which includes a few cuts and scrapes on the little girl and what seems to be a broken arm from Toga. He is so extremely maddened by this state, but he seems to hide it well as he lets out a smile towards the girl. He's closing his right eye so that she doesn't see his red eye. He also uses some of the threads and fabrics that he tore apart to make some sort of little carrying device where he puts the little girl in the carrying device on the front of his shirt. And he looks at Toga and says, "Here, have this. Me and my dad were working on these last night," as he hands her a little bottle of 20 pills. She looks inside as she asks, "What are they?" "Pills of my blood. If you take one, you should be able to use my quirk." She nods as she does, and you'll see as her veins start to expand. She uses never-ending flow. "Alright, Dad, can we go to that place where you trained me for us to stay? I feel like it would work." Chizumi nods his head as he says, "Yeah. Oh, yeah! Chizumi Akaguro, as he holds his hand to Toga. "Himiko Toga." They shake hands as Izuku's walking and finding his eye patch. He puts his eye patch on as he looks towards the other two and says, "Alright, we should probably get going before the police get here." They both nod as they start running. This new speed and strength is kind of new to Toga, but from the show she was already pretty fast and strong. So she gets the hang of it pretty fast as they jump from one wall to the other to another and back as they jump from an alleyway onto a roof, basically. They get up there, and once everyone else is up, Azuku just starts running in a direction. Eventually, they get to a warehouse. Seems abandoned. All the windows are boarded up or covered with some sort of black material. The doors are latched shut with different welding tools and otherwise. Azuku waves Toga on as he goes to one of the windows that is covered by a black glass-like material. As he just pushes on the glass, it pops out. He grabs it and crawls in, as the other three do as well. He puts the glass window back in its socket, and he waves his arms as he goes over to a box and flicks a bunch of levers. The lights kick on to show two sets of two bunk beds. Two for Himika and, one for Toga, one for, Yuki, one for Stain / Chizumi, and one for Deku. Deku says, "Make yourself at home." Hey Siri. Message Blake.
What do you want to say?
I decided to, record. I'm pretty sure you guys heard a little bit of that. I am sorry. I meant to pause the recording. I guess it didn't. So, yeah, one of my Discord friends, asked me to record this today. That's why I'm recording it so soon. Anyway. He waves towards the bunk beds as he says, "Make yourself at home. Or make yourselves at home. Dad, let's talk on the roof." As Azuku grabs a suitcase and jumps out of the window. His father does the exact same thing as they meet up on the roof of this abandoned warehouse. It is actually quite tall. It has 2 stories, but the warehouse isn't actually 2 stories. What it is the warehouse has a little loft area that used to hold light machinery and otherwise. Jizumi gets to the roof as he asks, "What did you need, Azu?" And he sees that Izuku's in his hero, or vigilante costume, as he says, "I can't handle people like that. The hero that killed Mom, and those heroes that have been going missing. I don't know how to say this, but I have a suspicion that's you. You come home at ungodly hours, randomly. You always come home with at least one scrape or bruise. And although I really do want to become a hero, I want to save those who are in need, I don't think that I could just watch and stand by as heroes like the one that killed Mom are out there with perfectly good hero licenses, never facing any sort of regret or even a jail day. It's not right. So I want to help you. I want to help you kill heroes that aren't heroes. Those people that are mistakes to humanity, a waste of space. Will you allow me to accompany you on your night missions, Father? I know who you have planned now. I found your little spot in the basement before the house was destroyed. You're going after Native, aren't you?" And Chizumi, for a split second, is very surprised, but after a second gets very proud. "Ah, you figured that out all on your own, then." Azuku nods his head. "Very well, and yes, I'm going after Native in a few nights. It will be a while until I find him. He's been hidden for a while. Until then, I can train you in how to estimate quirks. You're pretty smart already," he says in what he thinks is his true voice. "So, your night of Vigilantium begins now," as he just dashes towards Azuku. Azuku's expecting something like this, does something new that not even Chizumi or Stain knows about. He jumps backwards. While in midair, he draws his katana as he swipes his left thumb down the blade, sending a spree of blood droplets surrounding the tip and the edge, as his finger heals automatically. He commands the blood cells on his sword, since, he can do that, to form a one blood cell blade, which, if you don't know, is called a nano blade. It is one blood cell width. Basically, it can cut through anything. It's, I'm pretty sure, almost smaller than an atom, so... as Izuku does this, he lands back on the ground as he looks Chizumi in the eyes, as both of his eyes are burning bright red. Stain, not Chizumi, is very excited about this. As he dashes forward, he does a diagonal slash towards Izuku's chest. Izuku just blocks the blade with his new blood cell blade, as Shizumi, or Stain's blade, is cut cleanly in two. He is almost amazed by this when Izuku kicks him in the chest, knocking him on the ground, and then blurs forward as he points his blade towards Chizumi's neck. Good thing that you didn't bite my blade. Might have killed you. But you would have froze me. Anyway, Father, I'm being truthful. I want to join you. And if that was some sort of test you made for me, I believe I passed. So please, allow me to accompany you on tonight's charade. As he lets his foot off of Stain's chest, Stain laughs just outright as he stands up. Very well, kid. He clears his throat. So, who do you think we're going for now? I think that it's that Matro Libre hero. The one that supposedly captured a bunch of villains, which all were female, and then those villains never spoke again. People are making rumors about it, but since he's a hero and he caught villains, he didn't get arrested. Very well. They both jump off of the rooftop as they land, roll, as they just start running through the city. We pick up the next morning with Toga and Yuki waking up at the same time as they see Izuku and Chizumi snoring in their beds. Toga very silently steps out of her bed as she shrugs on her school uniform that she ordered, same one in canon, and she walks over to Izuku as she taps him on the shoulder and says, "It's UA entrance exam time. We should probably go." Izuku grudgingly gets out of bed and says, "Yeah, in a minute," as he stands up, puts on what clothes he has, brushes his teeth, and then they leave. They eventually show up to the UA Academy, or the UA High entrance. As they are walking through the entrance, Izuku's thinking how nervous he will be, and then out of nowhere he thinks, "This is where I'll learn how to be the best hero. The one who takes down all the villains, and I mean all of them," as he thinks of what happened to Matro Libre. Then he trips and thinks, or I'll just die. But he doesn't hit the ground, however, as he feels a firm grasp on his right arm and a light touch on his back. He looks to his right and sees Toga grabbing him, but looking on the other side of him with almost a glare. Izuku turns to see what she's glaring at and sees a pretty brunette with some sort of gravity quirk he just thinks of, because although Toga's grabbing his arm, she's not really keeping him in place. As soon as this brunette looks at Toga, she immediately lets go of Izuku as he almost falls again, but Toga keeps him up. As she says, "Oh, and walks away with disgust in her eyes because, or not disgust, but a little bit of fear because Toga was scary as hell when she looked at her. Izuku, not really knowing what just happened, does my breath smell bad? What, Toga, are you okay? As he notices Toga's eyes are bloodshot. She goes from bloodshotted rage to to basically cutie girl in about 0.5 seconds as she flashes him a brilliant smile and says, "Yeah, I'm fine. Let's get going." Izuku nods his head as, not knowing it, Toga, or he doesn't know this, but Toga locks arms with him as they continue walking. They go into the exam hall where both Toga and Deku ace the written exams, since, he's been helping her train both body and mind. Then it comes to Present Mike explaining all the robots. He explains about the 1-pointers, the 2-pointers, the 3-pointers, and then right when he's about to explain the 4th, he stops and starts talking about how gaining points works. A man with bluish hair and glasses stands up as he stands up and says, "Hey, sir, you did not explain the last robot." President Mike sighs as he says, the last robot." I'm not doing President Mike's accent. It's one that I just can't do. It's like a perfect mix of loud and charismatic, and I'm not that. As he says, 0-pointer is a robot that you shouldn't fight. I would recommend staying away from it. It's worthless. Anyway, he continues the explanation, and the camera goes blank as we zoom back in to see Deku, or Izuku, and Toga standing basically side by side at the front of the gate, in the front of the group, as they're readying themselves for battle. Izuku did ask the examiners if he was allowed to bring any support items. They said that he could. So what he did is he brought a katana and a K-bar knife. But right before the entrance exam begins, he looks towards Toga and goes, "Oh yeah, I had something for you." As he reaches into his bag and hands her a decently large K-bar knife that has some sort of rectangular tube in the middle of the blade. And she notices at the very end of the tip, where the point is, there's a little hole. Izuku says, "If you end up stabbing anyone, that will draw small amounts of blood, which will be held in a capsule in the hilt. If you ever do stab someone, it would also work if you just cut someone and have the blood go to the tip of the blade. It's basically a constant vacuum of air. Anyway, you empty the capsule like this," as he shows her twisting off the very bottom of the handle, and he pulls out a little glass tube that has a mouthpiece where if you bite down on it, it's basically squishing 2 pieces of plastic together, unleashing the liquid inside, and then he screws the hilt back together as he hands her the blade, and he says, "Alright, that should work on robots. It's tungsten carbide. If you don't know what tungsten carbide is, it is the strongest metal known to Earth. I believe the only thing that you can cut it with is diamonds. So do not lose it. You won't break it, but don't lose it." Toga laughs to herself as Izuku is actually being serious, but she didn't know that. And as he finishes that, President Mike yells over his speaker, says, "Alright, 3, 2, and right as he says 2, the doors open, and he stops the countdown as he says, "What are you waiting for? Battles don't have countdowns." And by the time the doors were starting to open, Izuku and Toga were already running. The months of hard-earned training, or the hard training that Izuku put into Toga, got her battle-ready reflexes just put in place. And Izuku's whole life has been training, basically. So, as they run through the gates, Izuku turns to his left as he jumps, spinning in midair with his katana, so that he is spinning horizontally as his katana, which is also tungsten carbide, cuts directly through a three-pointer, just clean in half, using his never-ending flow to just speed up his body enough to unleash a wind pressure that cut the rest of the monster in half. Or not the monster, the robot. As he lands on the ground, he looks to his to his right when he sees Toga straddling a two-pointer as she pops one of his pills that he gave her, which is, made of his blood. And the reason he made those is specifically for Toga, or he can also give those to people to heal them. But Toga doesn't know that. He got the idea from watching a chemistry show. I don't know, like Bill Nye. Anyway. The exam continues as Izuku racks up, let's say, 50 villain points, and Toga racks up 45. We'll have her be barely behind Izuku, since she also has his quirk, which I think I mentioned that. When Toga drinks blood, if it's in the right state of blood, then she can, she can have that person's quirk without having to look like them. It wouldn't work with All for One, or One for All, because, she would have to be a quirk, or she would have to be a, successor, or like the 9th user of, One for All. Anyway, back to it. They did rack up those amount of villain points, but also throughout the time they both helped others, helped each other, and overall racked up about 20 hero points apiece. So Toga is now at 65, while Deku is at 70 points total. As a building behind Deku explodes, he quickly turns around to see a humongous robot, the zero-pointer. He thinks in his head, "That is colossal, and I am getting away from it." As he's about to turn and run, he hears a call for help. "Help! I'm stuck under rubble! Help!" And he turns around. Before thinking about it, he starts running, holding his katana in his right hand, pulling out a K-bar knife from his boot in his left. He runs, doing never-ending flow as his veins expand and his awareness grows. As he jumps and does the same sort of horizontal spin in midair as he cuts through the rubble, holding Ochaka Uraraka down, as he then jumps off of the same rubble that is still in midair from his cut and flies towards the robot's knee joint, as he uses his tungsten carbide blades to slice in and through the robot's knee joint, as he cuts clean through, sending the robot keeling back as he falls to the ground. And as soon as he does this, the robot's knee is only about 25 feet off the ground, so he won't break anything. As he lands and rolls, he runs as he grabs Ochako, spins so he can get more momentum, and then throws her towards Toga, as Toga grudgingly catches her and continues running towards the gate. And as Izuku and Toga get to the gate, they hear over the intercoms, "And that's it, folks, the test is over, or the entering exam is over. Please take off the suits we lent you and go home." Toga and Deku let out a sigh of pure and utter relief. They do head back to the place they now call home, / the warehouse. And you're probably asking, didn't Deku technically kidnap Toga? When he did the 911 call, he also told them about her father most likely doing some horrible things to the little girl, which it was a lie through his teeth since he actually didn't know, but it was a good bet, so. And no, I'm letting you guys know so you don't think I'm some freak. No, the little girl is untouched, same as Toga, except for bruises and stuff. Anything. Anyway, we zoom back in to see Toga, Deku, and Chizumi, or Stain, training on top of the roof in a circle spray painted down on the ground, or on the top of the roof. I don't know. It's like a helipad circle, basically. And Chizumi charges Deku and Toga, which they easily lend him on his ass, because remember, Toga and Deku have been training with him for at least 2 months. Deku's been training with him since he was 9. Or no, since he was like 6. Never mind, I was wrong. Anyway, so they decide to have Deku, the prodigy, face against Toga and Chizumi. As they race forward, Deku bites his thumb and drinks his blood as he uses never-ending flow, and he also coats his blade. As he coats his blade in his blood, it forms the nano blade, or what he calls the B blade, but blood blade. And he jumps over them as he slices his katana down, cutting Chizumi's wooden sword in half, and cutting Toga's wooden knife in half, which he did not actually have a real katana, he had a wooden katana as well. And he still cut through their shit. That tells you how good the fucking nano blade is. Because it's its own blade. You just put it on some sort of surface. He could have a random stick from the woods. It could be fucking pencil thin, and he could still cut through tungsten carbide, basically. That goes through as he is counted the winner, since he could have sliced their heads off instead of their blades. And as they are all relaxing downstairs, Yuki walks over and looks at Izuku as she's holding in her hands a drawing. It is of her, Toga, and Deku all holding hands as she says, "Do you like it, big brother? Big brother?" Izuku has a questioning look on his face as he looks towards Toga and says, "When did..." Chizumi reacts was like, "Already? Zuku's 15. Like a joke, because, you know. Oh wait, no, I shouldn't. Fuck, big brother. Yeah. He says, "Already, Izuku? Wow, you move fast." And both Toga and Izuku immediately, like, head snapping fast, look towards Chizumi as they both blush. Toga doesn't deny it, but Izuku rants on, like in the anime way. It's not like that, while he's being interrupted by Yuki and Chizumi. As they hear a knocking on the middle door. As soon as this happens, Deku draws his blades. Toga draws her special knife that he made her. Well, not he made her, he ordered her. Yuki hides in under one of the beds, and Chizumi jumps as he's right next to the door, holding a knife. He moves a hatch aside, or a little lever-like thing, so he can see out. And it is a man that is wearing mailman uniform, as he's holding 2 different things. This is, by the way, this is a few days after the UA exam. Don't know if I said this. He's holding 2. No, he's holding one fucking, what is it called? Envelope, which has the UA stamp. Chizumi opens the door as he nods to the man, who hands him the thing, and closes the door as he throws it directly at Deku. Deku grabs it, of course, and then says, "Wait, where's Toga's? Shouldn't she have gotten hers as well?" Toga realizes why it's not there and says, "Oh no, we don't need mine. I think I made it as well." Toga's like, "No, we do need yours. Where would it be if not here? We never actually signed your name onto this address." Oh. Toga just looks down at the floor as she says, "At my father's house." Izuku looks at Yuki and says, "That was a little abrupt last night. You want to go get your stuff?" As both Chizumi and Toga look at him with like not disdain in in their eyes, but like question of, "Well, I myself want to go talk to him, and if he's still in the hospital and not home, then it'll be easier than that. So why don't we just go take a visit to your house, your old house, and if he's not there, nothing bad will happen, but if he is, there will be some good things that happen." She nods, as Chizumi stays back, but Toga, Deku, and Yuki head to Toga's old house. As they get there, they see the door is back on its hinges. They think that's odd. He broke it like last night. Or no, it's been a few days. Never mind, I was wrong. It has been a few days. Zuku knocks on the door as he says, "Mr. Toga," or actually, is Himiko? Yeah, Toga is their last name. He opens the door as he says, "What are you?" And as soon as he sees Deku, he goes to slam the door, but Deku just extends one hand very calmly as the door stops in its place, and he says, "Oh, you should have gotten some mail. Me and Toga and, well, also Yuki, we're here to grab it, and also I wanted to have a personal chat with you after our little encounter a few nights ago." He starts to shake as Izuku grabs his arm and pulls him outside. As he waves to the two girls, "Go inside, grab whatever you wish, and meet me out front in like 30 minutes. And Izuku drags Mr. Toga into the backyard. We start off by seeing let's just name him, I don't actually know Toga's father's name, so let's just call him let's just call him Jot. There we go. Jot works. "So, Jot, I wanted to ask you a few questions. What have you done to Toga and Yuki? In general, everything. Tell me everything you've done." Cool? Very cool. As, Jot is fucking shaking, because Izuku's eye patch is missing. So he is staring this man dead in the eyes with one red eye and one emerald green. Alright, we're going to zoom in to see Toga and Yuki looking through their old bedroom as they are just grabbing photos of them and their mom, stuff like that. And also, yes, mom's Toga. Toga's mom has also died, which is another reason why Izuku is so protective of her. Because he feels what she's feeling. The whole mother dying sort of thing. Well, Yuki asked Toga, Is Izuku a mean guy?" Toga laughs as she says, "No, he's actually very nice. The very few times you have seen him were around Dad, so he was a little mean, yeah. But as soon as you get to know him, you'll think of him as an actual big brother." Yuki smiles as she looks at the drawing she's still holding. Alright, we zoom back out to see a screaming Jot as Deku is stepping on his ankle where he cut it. Alright, that will be all. Oh yeah, one one more little thing. You didn't take my warning last time, and if this wasn't a good enough warning, as he bends down very close to the man's face, he bares his fangs, which, yes, he has fangs, very sharp teeth, he says. Next time, I will actually kill you. I have no more regrets. Next time I see you, you better hope I'm in a good mood. He stands up as he smiles and says, "All right, have a wonderful day." And he walks out. As Toga and Yuki are there with 3 backpacks, a suitcase, and a few pillows. Alright, you seem ready, as he takes a backpack and one of the suitcases, or the suitcase, so that the other 2 only are wearing 1 backpack and 2 pillows. Alright, let's get back, shall we? They all start walking back to the abandoned warehouse. When they get there, Izuku passes Toga her note, as it says, "Open it! We can open ours together." As she opens hers first, All Might appears, as he says, "Hello, Himiko Toga. So nice to see you again. Last time I saw you, you were in a little bit of a pickle, trapped by a sludge villain. But it is so nice to hear that you are making it into UA High." He looks to his left and says, "Wait, how many? Anyway. Yes, Toga. I am very excited to see what you and young Izuku can do with your new lives. Please show me. I am intrigued." As he hangs up the hologram, and Izuku opens up his. "Izuku Midoriya, young Izuku. It is very nice to hear that you have made it into UA High, isn't it? Also, another thing that might not very much surprise you, you got spot 1 in the UA entrance exam, with 51 villain points. Oh, we forgot to tell you. You also, there were 2 sides of the test. Villain points, and then hero points. Every time you saved someone, you received a certain amount of hero points. You gained, before the 0-pointer, you gained 25 hero points. And then, at the 0-pointer, the person that you saved in the rubble is named Ochako Uraraka. And after you saved her, she went here and told us if you didn't have enough points, that she would be honored to give you some of hers." Toga gets a little frustrated that she thought of that first, but the video continues as he says, "In total, young Midoriya, you had 135 points, making you number 1 of the UA entrance exam." Hearing this, Izuku starts to shed tears as he is so excited. Not only did he make it, he showed his father that he could become the best. And apparently he impressed his idol, his father's idol, the best hero known to man. The video shuts off as he says, "I bid you a farewell. I am excited to see you this year, as I am now a teacher of UA High." And then you hear the bloop as the hologram shuts off. There we go. Yeah. Anyway. Izuku and Toga super giddy. Yuki realizes the amount of giddiness in the room and starts to giddy herself as they throw a small party. We will pick it up the next day as Toga and Deku are walking off. I think I did that. Oh, I did that right. Anyway, sorry. I did the same thing. Anyway, Toga and Deku both get to UA safely as they waved goodbye to Chizumi and Yuki. They walk through the gates that officially announce they are part of UA High, as this shot of, like, pride enters them. They walk into the school and look at a map and ask a few people for directions as they find their way to class 1A, where they both, in chorus, say, "Why is the door so big? Are we in class with a giant?" Getting over their flusteredness a bit, they open the door and are greeted by a screaming Ida, who is screaming at Bakugo. Katsuki Bakugo, who is leaning backwards with his feet on the desk, as we hear Ida say, "Stop disrespecting the school's property by putting your disgusting shoes on our desks." Bakugo makes a smart retort as Izuku walks over, and as soon as Ida sees him, he says, "Congratulations on seeing the true meaning of the test. Not even I was able to make out that. It is truly an honor to be in the same class as one so intelligent." And as he is spieling about this, Izuku tries to interrupt, saying, "No, I didn't see any." And then as soon as he says this, he hears a familiar voice as Ochako walks through the door and says, "Hey, it's Scary Kid and Scary Girl." Yes, that's their names now. Toga snarls a bit as Izuku's like, "What about me is scary?" "I don't know, the fact that you use blood, whatever. Thank you for saving me back there." Izuku and Toga at the same time say, "It's no problem," as Toga steps even closer to Izuku, almost pushing him over. And they are interrupted yet again by Aizawa as he crawls in with his sleeping bag. Everyone in class yells, What is that?" Izuku jokingly says over everyone's yelling, "Looks like the caterpillar is here. Will it hatch into a beautiful butterfly, or maybe our teacher?" Everyone, for a minute, is like, "Wait, what?" And then Aizawa steps out of the bag, and everyone just goes, "What?" And they start to laugh, as Izuku was right. And you're wondering how Izuku knew it was a person, aside from, it's a yellow sleeping bag that has threads showing. He could see the outline of Aizawa's blood and veins. Anyway, hello, Teach. It's an honor to be in your class, as Aizawa yells, "Everyone quiet down. Izuku Midoriya, is it?" Everyone's still slightly chatting as he says, "Yes." You were number 1 in the entrance exam." "Very neat." He starts handing out gym uniforms. "I want everyone to meet me outside in the field." They all nod as they start putting out. Actually, no. A few of them ask what's going on. Aren't they going to miss the entrance ceremony? I forgot what it's called. He interrupts and says, "UA has the teachers run their class how they believe is the right way. I don't think you need useless things like an entrance ceremony to be a good hero. So, you don't get one. Meet me in the field without any more questions." Everyone shuts up as they start heading to their locker rooms and all that so they can change. Izuku just takes off his jeans and his hoodie as he just pulls on the shirt like thing over his wife beater, white beater. I don't know what it's called, white beefer. Anyway, and pulls on the pants over his boxers. Every girl in class notice how ripped he is, and a few of them blush as Toga, not even Toga has seen this, and she almost faints. As then, what keeps her from fainting is all the other women looking at him. She gets very pissed off out of nowhere as she tries to block the view from everyone. Izuku, thinking she's just having a seizure, like taps the back of her neck as it sends shivers down her spine as she turns around like, what? Are you okay, Toga? And this little act makes everyone in the class at once think, yep, they're a unit. Anyway, we resume to see them all in a line outside near a track, basically. As Aizawa looks at Izuku and throws him a ball. Stand in that circle. Izuku does as he says. You placed first in the entrance exam, right? Izuku nods his head. Also, you seem to have placed first in the middle school fitness test, correct? Izuku says, yeah. Alright, you didn't use your quirk in the middle school fitness test, correct? No, they didn't allow it. Well, I want you to use your quirk here. What did you get for the ball throw in middle school? Izuku says, I believe about 71 meters, sir. Aizawa nods his head, as that is quite impressive. Alright, now use your quirk. Deku nods his head as he winds back the ball as people will see him bite his left thumb as he drinks his blood. A few of the people in class are disgusted by this, a few amazed, and a few generally confused, as Deku throws his arm as sorry, give me a second. Sorry, he throws his arm as he unleashes a torrent of air, almost breaking the sound barrier. As he gets 600 meters he gets 605 meters, about 1,810, around that. Aizawa seems very impressed, and everyone else in the class is stunned as he looks at his phone and says, that is 610 meters. Wait. 610 meters is like... I think I guessed wrong as well. Yeah, it's 1,830 feet. Just letting you guys get the facts. It's quite far. Or in American terms, like almost a football field. Wait, give me a second. So, actually, in American terms, it's like 6 1/4 football fields. Imagine that. Anyway, Aizawa says, very impressive for someone that... What quirk do you have? Oh, my quirk? It's called, blood manipulation paralyzation. So, what? Oh, it gives me a small amount of blood manipulation, and like my father, if I drink someone's blood, I can paralyze them. Everyone in the class at once excluding Ida and Toga, cringe in disgust and a little fear. As Aizawa nods his head and says, "So, you want to be a hero, right?" "Yeah? That usually means no cutting people." "Well, actually, there are hundreds of heroes in time past that main weapons were swords or knives. You can look it up, Mr. Aizawa." Aizawa nods and says, "Well, you passed my test. Get back in line. Next person throwing is Bakugo. You got second in the entrance exam." And he continues like that, where Bakugo was second, fucking Toga was third, and so on and so forth. Then the next test was the 50-meter dash, which is 150 feet, I believe. And unlucky enough, Izuku was paired up with Ida, where he bit his thumb before the countdown started so he could get his overwhelming flow, which is an upgraded version of never-ending flow. As his veins almost pop, the countdown ends as he sprints forward, casting dust behind him. He's neck and neck with Ida as they tie on the thing. Both of them are breathing heavily as Ida actually had to full sprint there, not like in the anime where he just wiped everyone's asses. That's not how the saying goes. Whipped everyone's asses. Sorry, over an hour. It's like 1 in the morning for me. I'm a little tired. Yeah, it's not like in the anime where he whipped everyone's asses. Him and Izuku tie for that one. They also tie for the side-to-side hops, or whatever it is. But for the rest, Izuku gets first place in almost all of them. Well, except for in the throwing one, because, Uwaraka got infinite. He does get first place for the grip one as well, as he breaks the machine and gets infinite. We then see as leaderboard, Izuku in first place. Right up behind him is Katsuki Bakugo, and then behind him is Himiko Toga. Behind them is, I think, Tenya Ida, and then Shoto, I forgot what Shoto's last name is. But most importantly, and last, is Mineta. Mineta? I don't fucking know what his last name is. As he starts to cry and say, I don't want to go home. Aizawa says, I'm not expelling anyone. It was just a practical illusion. I actually don't know if that's what it's called. To make you all do your best. As he turns away and starts walking, he passes a very interested All Might, as All Might starts to say, "So, anyone's quirk stand out to you?" And Aizawa says, "One, but I'm not in the mood to chat with you about kids." And he walks away. All Might, slightly disappointed, does the same. Alright, you know what? I'll go for like an hour, 20 minutes, just for you guys specifically that like to listen to this. A few days pass as Aizawa says, "Today will be hero training, combat." And he just walks out the room. Everyone immediately is so confused. Some people almost get up to follow as they hear running footsteps as a very tall man with blonde hair and a blue suit walks through the door as he says, "I am here." All Might appears in the door and says, "Today I will be training you in hero training combat. One of the most important things you'll learn at this school." Everyone cheers, "All Might! All Might!" As All Might waves his hand and says, "All right, everyone. In my personal opinion, you can't be heroes without a hero costume. So look at these! As he presses a button on a remote, as the wall on the left side of the classroom opens up to show a bunch of different suitcases with green numbers on them. Izuku realizes his number isn't there because, you know, his suit is in his backpack as he didn't want one since he already had one. Everyone's like, sir, why is Midoriya's suit not there? As, All Might responds, he already had one. Everyone at the same time very slowly turns to him as Izuku's like, what? My father was a hero. He made me one. They all have a little bit of, they all get a little bit of understanding in their eyes as they all head out to their changing rooms to equip their costumes. Then everyone goes to the same city as before, as Izuku and Toga are standing side by side. If you give me just a split second, I will show you Toga's costume. It's the same as in canon, but this time she's a hero. And her, tube thing, that right there, is replaced with the knife that Deku got her, so she doesn't have a bunch of tubes everywhere. Just the knife. But also the knife has a rubber bit around it, so that, you know, she won't actually stab anyone. Which no one was really scared of her actually stabbing anyone, but they just wanted to make sure. Where did I put it? That's not exactly peachy. Hope you don't mind, since I need to refine the art that I made. Alright, I can't... Oh, there it is. Perfect. Sorry. That took a bit too long. Okay, Azuki's wearing this with his, tungsten carbide katana on his back, and his K-bar knife, sheathed in his shoe, and yes, he also has the rubber on the end of his blade so that he doesn't cut anyone. It was necessary for anyone who does wield a blade here not to cut his classmates. Although Recovery Girl is standing on the side, still probably wouldn't be good to cut someone's arm off. Anyway, All Might clears his throat as no one actually walks up to Deku in this one because everyone is now scared of him because they think he has a villainous quirk. As Izuku is just looking at All Might looks back and says, "Alright everyone, today's hero training will be heroes versus villains. The way this will work is you will all write your names, and throw them into this hat. I will draw the names at random, and whoever I draw will be on a team. And what I meant by heroes and villains is, I will pick one of the two teams to be villains, and one of the two teams to be heroes. The assignment for the heroes, the way you win is you go in and obtain the villains by putting this capture tape around them, or you find and capture the bomb. Now, the way to win as the villains. You either keep the bomb away from them for a certain amount of time, or you knock them out and capture them." Everyone seems to get the point as they nod, and the tests begin, as he draws Toga and Izuku, Bakugo and Ida, and the rest don't really matter. I'm sorry to say that. I know some people like to know all the details, but I don't honestly have the time yet for that. So, we'll just say, Mina is with Ochako. So, those of you that are huge Ochako fans. Anyway, they win. Just letting you know. Ochako and Mina win. We will then skip over to see Deku, or Izuku, and Toga standing outside the building as they are planning. Izuku says to Toga, "Alright, pop one of those pills I got you. You should have a refill in your backpack somewhere, or in one of your back chambers. I say we split up. You go through the 3rd floor window. I can propel you if you need. And I'll go through the bottom. Why this is Bakugo is going to be trying to find me. Our old rivalry is probably still there. And why you should go through the third floor window is I have no doubt that you can take Ida in a fight. I trained you myself, after all. And the most likely place I can see them putting it is on the second or third floor, so might as well get you right there. She nods as the test officially starts. Izuku bends down as she jumps on his back, and as she jumps, he stands up as it launches her to the third floor window as she bursts through the glass. Izuku just shrugs as he walks in, drawing his blade and drawing his knife. He is carrying his knife in a scout carry on the back of his on his back, which, if you guys don't know, his sheath is in a horizontal way, so that the handle is facing the left side of his back horizontally, his lower back. So all he has to do is reach down to his left back and then pull on a handle, and his knife is right there on the back of his belt. He is currently carrying the blade on the bottom side of his hand, so the handle bit is near his thumb, and the blade is on the opposite side from his thumb. That thing, with his katana in a normal grip. He walks down the hall, crouching so he's silent, as he hears Bakugo saying, "When the hell will damn Deku get here?" Deku's just going to walk around the corner as Bakugo, he hears Bakugo around the next corner. And him thinking that Bakugo is too loud for him to hear Deku, just stands up and starts walking. Unfortunately, he was wrong, as Bakugo jumps around the corner, propelling himself towards Deku using his explosions. As he throws a right hook explosion at Deku, Deku knows this from the few fights they've had. He ducks low as he turns left, and as Bakugo goes right over him, Deku stands and jumps, hitting Bakugo on Deku's shoulder, which then crushes a few of his ribs and sends him into the ceiling, crushing the ceiling, as Bakugo falls to the ground unconscious in like 0.5 seconds. Izuku wraps him in capture tape as he says, "Sorry to make that fast, I'm kinda worried about Toga." But Bakugo doesn't hear this since he is knocked clean out. Deku starts running up the stairs to get to the third room, where he hears the walls being broke. He hears grunts from both genders as he breaks down the door and sees Ida right about to kick Toga in the face. Toga quickly leans backward so the kick goes over her face, and then she stands up to be kicked in the stomach and sent through a wall. As Ida... you can't see it, but he smiles to himself as he does more monologuing because he doesn't see Deku. Deku, in the worst attitude he's had for a while, where both of his eyes are red because he just saw the person that he doesn't know it, but he sees as a mate, get kicked through a wall. So he runs over at full speed, drops his, he sheathes his blades as he jumps forward doing a front flip axe kick, which, if you don't know, he did a front flip but let his right leg stay straight the whole time, so when he came down with so much force, he cracked Ida's skull. As he landed on the ground, he tapped the bomb. As they heard over the intercoms, "Heroes win!" And he immediately runs over to Toga to make sure she's okay, which he notices that she has a few broken ribs. So he bites his thumb and puts it in her mouth as she not knowingly drinks it, and her ribs heal automatically as her cells are just being told what to do. The only time Deku has extremely good blood manipulation is with himself or someone that has his cells already in them, which Toga has a lot of his blood cells since she's taking pills of his blood. He then picks up Toga in a princess carry as he walks out of the building, and Sorry, I've been just kind of stopping every here and there for a while because I keep getting messaged by my friend. Anyway, Recovery Girl walks in the building as she bends down, kisses Bakugo, and then kisses Ida, which is right next to her because, Ida eventually did wake up as he feels his skull welding back together. He cringes. We then, the battles go on, and Izuku and, basically everyone's back in that room as they are explaining who the MVP of each situation was. And, All Might says, young Midoriya was the MVP of his match. Can anyone tell me why? As Momo says, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Midoriya first showed extreme stealth and patience, slowly creeping through each hallway to make sure that he was covered, and had no way that Baku could attack him without him knowing. True sign of a cautious person. Then, when he heard Bakugo for sure, he baited Bakugo by sounding loud, baiting Bakugo right into a trap, where Bakugo was easily taken out in one move, swiftly, so that his partner wasn't held up long. All Might seem surprised that she knows this already, as then she says, he very hastily and fast ran up to the bomb, where he saw his partner being kicked through a wall. He ran to take out the villain to make sure he couldn't harm his teammate anymore, and then captured the bomb. Although he probably should have checked on his partner first to make sure she wasn't going to die. That also shows that he was more worried about the general public than any personal issues. Sign of a good hero. All Might seems like super surprised that she knows all this already at such a young age. Everyone starts speaking, yeah, he does seem like a good hero, although he has a villainous quirk. And this is when All Might says his famous words. A quirk does not make the hero. The person makes the hero. Don't ever judge someone by their quirk. As the class listens to this advice, we're going to cut to see Deku and Toga in the nurse's office, as Toga's just wrapping up her stomach because, she has her stomach wrapped up already because her ribs were previously broken. They're not broken anymore, but her skin is still bruised. He's not going to heal a bruise because that could help with pain tolerance, but direct broken ribs can get in the way of a fight, so he doesn't heal that. When they walk out, Izuku asks, hey Toga, do you want to grab a bite to eat, just me and you? As he sees a new light, shining bright right in front of him. Toga, who's always seen this light, very happily nods and agrees, as she says, call it a date! And that, my friends, is where we end this. Thank you guys for watching. If you did get to the end, and I hope you enjoyed, leave a like, comment in the comment section below. Recommend some hero names for both Toga and Deku. Alright, that's it. I am Hex, you've been hexed, and I'll see you next week to remove it.